Hey everybody, dropping back in on week 6 of shock loading, building strength and adaptation with the sandbag, filled to 280 pounds and 300 pounds. I'm coming back from a 3-week break of training off camera after dealing with a little burnout. After uploading every day, sometimes twice for over 8 months straight, I needed to change something, and the routine it was, so I'm back with the new routine. I appreciate everyone's understanding, and I appreciate everyone being here as I come back on here. I also appreciate all of you who stumbled across my channel during my break as I share this sandbag strength journey with you all and maybe inspire or add value to your own journey. The biggest thing I learned from this is finding that balance between training, YouTubing, and just life. I was not very good at that and pretty much just walking around in a mental hole, chronically stressed, overwhelmed, and not knowing how to handle the pressure from multiple directions until it got to be too much one day and I about reached a breaking point. So I decided to take a break. Before I get into the training, I'm going to talk about the routine and how it changed. So I'm about to get real right here. I'm the type of person that when I go after something, I'm utterly relentless. Might be a bad habit, I don't know. But that's just who I am. Anyone that knows me well can say that. I've been that way about everything I've done. Playing baseball, being good at my trade, playing guitar, it's just who I am. No natural talents, just hard work and refusing to give up. I also refuse to listen to people who haven't walked the walk, been there, or where I'm trying to be. Outside of training, I'm also a dad, a husband, and in a supervisory position at work. So I constantly have a lot going on. My routine behind the scenes was questionably insane, but I just thought that's how I could make time for what I wanted to do. But it drained me over time. I would get up at 2 a.m., watch content, train only 4 days, and make content mostly 7 days a week, both the mornings and the evenings, always on. And then I'd go to work for 10 to 12 hours at 6 a.m., plus being out of town during the week, staying in hotels, Airbnbs. It absolutely mentally exhausted me after 8 months. Excessive amounts of screen time, exhausting my brain before the sun comes up, and it leaked into other aspects of my life in a negative way. They say screen sucking for long periods of time is bad for your brain. Well, I learned that the hard way for sure. I just ignored and denied what the problem was until my cup runneth over one day. And I acknowledged it. Just feeling low and down in a hole like the Dirt album by Alice in Chains overall. Just no drugs involved. For all you rock and grunge fans out there, that's a pretty dark album. So I've changed my routine. Detox from the screens, and I've never felt better mentally. Much happier for sure. Even with all the chaos that life brings on the daily. Maybe people perceive me from being on here, and even my subordinates at work see me as someone who's got it figured out and got it going on and all that. On a real note, I don't think I've ever had it figured out. I'm really just a walking dipshit. I'm just not good at hiding it or denying it. So I just look at it like this. I'm not going to waste time feeling bad for myself. I'm going to be who I am. If you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. That's just how I go about it. So that is what I just went through. Here's the new routine. So where I work is 2 hours from my house. Not because I want it to be, just because I have no choice. I decided to drive back and forth every day. Luckily, I have a company truck and company gas. So it's saving paying a mortgage every month and hotels. The drive home kind of sucks in the evening, but when I get home, I get to train and spend time with the family, so it's worth it. Funny thing is, my 2-year-old daughter isn't used to me being home during the week, so she was kind of sketched out by me being home during the week. I guess it threw off her routine of being with mommy and seeing daddy on the weekends. I've been away during the week since she was about 7 months old, so for a while there. I don't think she remembers me being there before. I guess toddlers get like that. One night, I told her to come here to sit with me before bed, and she started screaming her head off. My wife was like, "Why is she screaming?" And I said, "Because I told her to come here." She'll get used to it, though. I'm just glad to be home every night regardless. So during the break, training and recovery never skipped a beat. Unfortunately, I had to drop jiu-jitsu out of the mix. That also might have been what sent me over the edge with everything already on my plate. So I'm in week 6 of shock loading with a heavy sandbag and currently training with 300 pounds at 196 pounds body weight. A little recap of the previous weeks. I was training at 280 pounds for 4 weeks, building the adaptation and work capacity with strength and muscle on top of that. I made videos recapping the first 2 weeks of training and 3 shorts from week 3, and then trained off camera on week 4. On week 5, I took a deload week off camera away from the heavy sandbag and doing light sandbag, calisthenics, and kettlebell work to recover and rest the central nervous system before loading the sandbag to 300 pounds. All right, first session at 300 pounds, and it's already out of the routine. Done at 5 a.m. in the morning. I said my new routine was training in the afternoon, but I had the day off that day, so might as well do it in the morning and get it out of the way. So I started this session with a working set of a vertical pick to lap into 3 bear hug extensions. Then I followed that with 4 sandbag to shoulder attempts. After the last attempt, I did 3 working sets of vertical pick into 3 bear hug extensions. After that was finished, just for fun, I did a sandbag to shoulder with my underfilled new 225-pound Freedom Strength sandbag. To recap these shouldering attempts, the good part is the adaptation was there, and I was more comfortable with the bag high on my chest compared to previous cycles where I was shouldering around 250 pounds. Since I've started building the sandbag to shoulder, the part from the chest to the shoulder was the most difficult part, simply because I was not used to having weight this heavy and bulky that high on the chest. In the previous 4 weeks leading up to this, I really focused on training that with 280 pounds, and here's the carryover of that. The speed from the lap to the chest isn't there, and I had a hard time catching and getting leverage under the bag to get it on my shoulder. But that's okay. I will figure it out and get it to my shoulder throughout this cycle. I've already built the move up to my chest. It's time to add the final touch now. Overall, I was pleased with the way 300 in the sandbag felt. I think the strength is there and built from all the patience and previous work leading up to this. Ultimately, I want to shoulder this weight and turn it into a 10 or more set working weight, like all the weights below it. And that's what I'm going after in this shock loading cycle. And here's a sandbag to shoulder with the new Freedom Strength 225-pound sandbag. Still underfilled. I don't know if it's 225 pounds, but every time I fill a sandbag or add weight to a sandbag, gotta lift it and see how it feels. So in this video, I'm only going to cover the 2 sandbag sessions of the week. The other 2 are kettlebell and calisthenics focused, in which I post shorts about weekly if you want to check them out. At the moment, building strength with sandbags is the main focus of this cycle. Sometimes going into a workout, you have a plan and it doesn't work out. The plan in this session was 5 sets of pick, carry, and do 5 box squats with a 300-pound sandbag. That's a lot going on. Getting the bag in position, carrying it, even for a short distance, is pure full body annihilation. Adding any amount of box squats and carrying back will get you pretty quick. So I tried that and immediately got trashed, so I decided that was a no-go. Overall, everything felt hard and not like it did in the other session 2 days ago. That happens sometimes, and it's okay. Going into this, my obliques and core were crazy sore from the other session, specifically from the vertical picks and that part of wiggling the bag from side to side, getting it around my knees and on my lap. So I just did a bunch of random stuff for the rest of this session without any count of sets, reps, or sense of time. It was kind of a fun and free feeling. The awesome thing about heavy sandbags is that even when something doesn't go as planned, you can say screw it, just start trying different things with lifting, as in lifting and moving it different ways. Have fun with it. I didn't film it, but I also played with a significantly lighter Freedom Strength bag you see me do box squats on too. With a sandbag this heavy, whether you get it off the ground 3 times or 10 times, you're still going to get good stimulation, engagement, and an overall good session in, because the sandbag makes the body work like a unit of pure strength. When I do these sandbag or any session, I always look for an arrangement that starts by easing into it, gradually becoming fatigued, and not having much left in the end. For this session, I'm still looking and trying to figure out a move that I can repeat for volume X amount of times. For me, at this weight, I'm thinking 5 or 6 times realistically after this session. After trying all this, I'm thinking of doing an upright pick onto the lap with a roll to horizontal into 1 few second lap to chest hold, and something I can repeat 5 or 6 times. As the cycle continues into the next 7 weeks, I will gradually build the total volume to 10 sets by the end of it. Lots of brutal stuff ahead to get there. So week 6 of training, first week of 300 pounds in the sandbag is done, with the new routine of making a 2-hour drive to and from work every day, getting up at 3 in the morning and training about 6:30 in the evenings. When I get home, with all the other things I have to do, It's easy to have that feeling of being rushed to get the workout done. I never have that feeling because my sessions don't take a lot of time, just steady, dense, and train strength and conditioning in many ways with a minimal amount of moves. One thing that has been suffering a bit is recovery. It's taking longer to recover. Sleep isn't ever optimal because my son wakes me up a few times throughout the night. He's 9 months old and his teeth are coming in, and that's painful for him, I imagine. Soreness and stiffness have been amplified since I started doing this because of all that time being cooped up. That always makes my body hurt more than any kind of training session or strain. That's a minor discomfort I'll have to address as the cycle continues. I just see it as conditions aren't ever optimal, comfortable, and recovery isn't always perfect because I have little control over that. I don't worry about that. My focus is how much effort I put in, how consistent I can be, because that's what really matters in the grand scheme of this journey. The discomforts don't matter, though. I'm much happier being home every night, seeing the family above all else. And that's all I got for this week. I'll have more coming up as this heavy sandbag shock loading cycle continues. Until next time, stay tuned. Thanks for being here and keep putting in the work.